So you have one of these stories where you've made and lost your money twice. You went from hero to zero and now back to $150 million net worth. How'd you get here?
Jeez, I'll give you the shortest version possible. So I was a management consultant right out of college, did well in school, did 2 years of that. I went to go apply to, all the big Ivy Leagues to get an MBA. And one of the questions on the test was, how will a Harvard MBA help your short and long-term goals? And I sat there for like 4 days trying to answer the question. And then I just came to the conclusion that it wasn't going to help my short and long-term goals, which is probably why they asked those questions on the application. So I was like, I guess I'm going to do fitness. Basically what I would do is I would sign a lease and then start running ads before I even had anything built out. And the model that I had was not very difficult to get the equipment for. I would generate enough pre-sales from the launch to cover the entire opening of the gym. From there, started doing gym turnarounds. It was during that process that I lost my money twice. Once was with a partner at the very beginning who was like, I filled his gym up and he said, hey, I'll come behind you and I'll just operate all the gyms. Then you don't have to give anything away. You'll just own them all. And then promptly took the money out of the business that I had saved up from selling the 6 gyms that I had. And so that sucked. But I learned a valuable lesson, which is in general, if you have the option between getting into business with someone who's already been indicted for fraud.
All things being equal.
Yeah. If you have no option, everybody that has been indicted for fraud, then, you have to just choose the best one. But for me, that was big lesson number one. Honestly, it was like 4, 5, 6 months later, it happened again. So I called the next gyms that were supposed to launch and told them, hey, we're getting out of the business. We're going to do something else. One of the guys says, hey, launch my buddy's gym. And so I picked the highest number I could think of because I wanted to get him off the phone and he already said he was broke. And so I said $6,000 and he said, $6,000, done. And I remember just like looking at the phone, being like, holy crap, like what just happened? I had 7 more calls that day. And next call, same thing. How much? $8,000. Next call, same thing. How much? $10,000. Ended up doing $60,000 in sales in a day. I could finally breathe again. I was officially just broke again, but no debt. And then from that, the next month, I think we did 220, then 380, then 480, then 780, then $1 million, then 1.2, then 1.5, then I think it was like 1.82, 2.2, and it went all the way up to 4.4 million a month within 20 months. We ended up packaging those companies and selling them to American Pacific Group. I sold 2/3 at a 46.2 million valuation in an all cash deal.
That was your first big exit.
That was the first big exit. And during the 5 years, we took out 42 million in distributions. So that was like still a very cash flow positive business. But I just didn't want to be, I'd been in gyms for like a decade at that point. So I was ready to just not be the gym guy anymore. And on Christmas Day, I officially started acquisition.com. The thesis I had was everybody wants proprietary deal flow and everybody wants people who trust them when they get into a deal process. I wonder if somebody has merged like a influencer social media brand with the traditional private equity model.